Right now, somewhere in the world, a transaction is taking place. A farmer exchanges goods, a ship unloads fuel, a government settles debt, a corporation completes a contract. Across continents, across cultures, across languages, the same symbol appears again and again: the United States dollar. A piece of paper with no intrinsic value, yet trusted more than metals, borders, or institutions. It cannot feed a nation or power a city, yet modern civilization moves through it. To understand the dollar is not to understand money, but to understand the invisible system that organizes the modern world. For most of human history, value was physical: gold, silver, salt, livestock, objects that could be touched and verified. Empires rose and collapsed based on access to these resources. Trade routes defined survival. But physical money moved slowly. It was heavy, difficult to divide, and impossible to scale across a growing global economy. As civilizations expanded, money needed to move faster than ships and safer than armies. That need gave birth to paper currency, not as value itself, but as representation, a promise that something valuable existed elsewhere. Over time, representation transformed into belief, and belief proved more powerful than metal. When the United States established the dollar in the late 18th century, it was not yet a dominant nation. It had no empire and no global authority. The dollar was simply one currency among many. What changed its fate was not printing, but stability, industrial growth, and eventually global conflict. During the 20th century's world wars, much of Europe's infrastructure was destroyed, while American industry expanded. When the wars ended, nations needed rebuilding, and the United States possessed capital, factories, and supply chains. Trust began forming not in paper, but in the system behind it. In 1944, representatives from 44 nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to design a new global financial order. Their agreement placed the US dollar at the center. Global currencies would be tied to the dollar, and the dollar would be tied to gold. 1 ounce of gold equaled $35. Nations no longer traded directly with one another. They traded through the dollar. Without being declared a world currency, it quietly became one. In 1971, the gold link was removed. President Nixon ended dollar convertibility, and many believed the system would collapse. It did not. Instead, the dollar evolved. Gold was replaced by something more powerful: global dependence. Through agreements that priced oil exclusively in dollars, energy markets bound themselves to US currency. Any nation that needed oil needed dollars. Demand became permanent. The system enforced itself without violence. Behind this global dominance existed something rarely discussed: the physical construction of the currency itself. US money is not printed like ordinary paper. It is manufactured. Produced by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, each note is created from a unique blend of 75% cotton and 25% linen, no wood pulp. This composition gives the dollar its texture, durability, and unmistakable feel. Embedded within are tiny red and blue fibers placed randomly during production, creating patterns impossible to replicate. As denominations rise, complexity increases. Even coins are engineered systems. The 50-cent piece, though rarely used today, was designed with precise metallic composition, copper and nickel alloys that create specific electromagnetic signatures recognizable by machines. Weight, diameter, and conductivity allow instant verification without human inspection. The $1 bill appears simple by design. Its consistency is intentional. Familiarity itself becomes a security feature. It circulates more than any other note on Earth, reinforcing trust through repetition. But beneath its simplicity lies engineered material, controlled ink absorption, and microscopic fibers invisible to the naked eye. The $5 bill introduces layered watermarks and embedded security threads that reveal themselves only when held to light. Micro-printed text appears along borders and portraits, smaller than the width of a human hair. These details cannot be accurately reproduced by scanners or printers. The $10 and $20 notes introduce color-shifting ink. Tilt the bill, and the numerals shift between copper and green, responding to light using optical chemistry beyond consumer technology. Ultraviolet features glow specific colors unique to each denomination, allowing machines to detect inconsistencies in milliseconds. The $50 bill adds motion itself as security. A three-dimensional blue ribbon is woven directly into the fabric, not printed on top. Thousands of micro lenses embedded inside the strip create movement as the note tilts. This effect is not digital, it is physical optics engineered with microscopic precision. The $100 bill represents the peak of currency engineering. Raised intaglio printing allows fingers to feel authenticity. Magnetic inks communicate with banking machines. Hidden images emerge under infrared scanning. Watermarks, micro-optics, and layered substrates work together as a unified security system. Some features are visible to the public. Others are never meant to be seen at all. Nothing on the dollar is decorative without purpose. Portrait placement, spacing, border thickness, ink density, every measurement is calculated. Absolute perfection would make counterfeiting easier. Controlled imperfection protects authenticity. Each note is the product of chemists, physicists, engineers, designers, and security analysts working years ahead of counterfeit technology that does not yet exist. A dollar bill is not simply money. It is one of the most advanced, mass-produced security objects ever created, a physical interface between trust and technology. As money moves, it becomes data. Every transaction creates information: who sent it, where it traveled, when it moved, and how frequently it circulates. This transforms currency into intelligence. Control no longer requires territory, it requires access. Modern sanctions operate not through military force, but through financial disconnection. Nations can be isolated without a single shot fired. Today, more than 90% of US dollars exist only digitally. Numbers inside databases, movements between servers. The dollar has become programmable, traceable, instantaneous. Technology did not weaken it, it expanded it. Global finance now runs on infrastructure designed around dollar-based systems. Replacing the currency would require replacing the architecture of the modern economy itself. During moments of global uncertainty, wars, pandemics, market collapses, capital moves toward the dollar. Again and again, history repeats the pattern. The dollar strengthens, not because America is perfect, but because the system surrounding it remains trusted. Strength today does not come from gold. It comes from belief reinforced by structure, and structure reinforced by technology. The US dollar is not merely currency. It is logistics, data, history encoded into paper and algorithms. Empires once ruled through land and armies. The modern empire operates through systems. You may never see it. You may never touch most of the money that exists, but every time you trade, save, borrow, or spend, you interact with it. The most powerful force in the modern world is not a weapon, it is trust, engineered. And once belief becomes global, paper becomes power.